Dr. Wessels here. Do you have a couple minutes to develop your selling skills? Let's talk about differentiation and meaningful points of differentiation. Now, we've said it before, but it is worth repeating. The only true form of differentiation is not the price, it's not the features or other parts of the product, it's the relationship. But it's worth thinking about how the relationship translates into an observable difference, especially in a competitive situation. What does a good relationship actually give us? We call this advantage meaningful points of differentiation, and the key word is meaningful. What are the 3 things your product can do that will change the customer's situation in a big way? When you have a good customer relationship, the process of selling changes. The customer does different things. They tell you where you and your product are not measuring up, and they tell you about where your product makes a positive difference, and they tell you about the things that your product does that others can't do. Now, this last group of things are what we call meaningful points of differentiation. They're meaningful because they make a positive difference in the customer's decision process and their business. If the customer has to justify the product or service to someone else, and you need to make a proposal, it's these points that need to be highlighted, those meaningful points. If you don't have a strong customer relationship, or your customer knows less about their situation than you do, which happens, meaningful points of differentiation are still available. What are the things your product or service does that others cannot do is a great place to start. Maybe there's nothing about your product or delivery that's different. But delivery, installation, service, support, something's different with you. You're different than your competitor. Maybe there are unique things that your product can do that relate to the customer's situation. These are usually exclusive features, but they're not the list of exclusive features, they're the edited list that you've changed and tailored to your customer's situation. More importantly, what are the things that your customer cannot do currently, but they need to do to survive? Maybe they can't keep up with workload, or they can't find enough good people. What about your product or service can assist them with that? Maybe there are things that they can't do, but they don't even know they should be doing, except that their competitors are doing these things. How can your product help keep them up to par? The bottom line is that your value proposition is not valuable and your recommendations don't have weight unless they're tied to a known or soon to be known pain point. Tying your product or service to a specific pain point changes the entire picture. The points you make to differentiate are then meaningful. So in summary, good relationships with customers are critical, and they can be the pathway to meaningful points of differentiation. Customers will tell them to you. If customers don't know what they're doing, go with a unique and feature set about your product and solution, and go with what's unique and painful about your customer's situation. The only thing we don't have more of is time, so sell well.